I've decided to do my genogram on the Fonda family. At the forefront is Henry Fonda. As shown here, there's a cross in his box to indicate that he is now deceased. He died at the age of 77 in 1982. In Henry Fonda's lifespan, he was married 5 times, and I'll go through each marriage now. His first marriage was to Margaret Sullivan, whom he married in 1931 and then divorced in 1933. In their marriage line, I put two dashes to indicate divorce. Margaret has since passed away. She died at the age of 50 in 1960. Henry Fonda's second marriage was to Frances Seymour. He married her in 1936 and they separated in 1950. I've only put one dash in their marriage line to indicate that they did not divorce but just separated. Frances Seymour has since deceased. She died in 1950 at the age of 42. It was a suicide. I've also shaded half her circle to show that she had a mental health issue. She was diagnosed with bipolar. And during their marriage, Frances and Henry had 2 children, Jane and Peter Fonda, whose details I'll go into shortly. Henry Fonda married his third wife, Susan Blanchard, in 1950. I put a dashed line next to their marriage line to indicate that they had an affair between 1948 and 1950. During their marriage, they adopted a daughter, Amy Fonda, who is 64 years old and still alive now. I put a dashed line next to the child line to indicate adoption. Susan Blanchard is still alive at the age of 89, and she and Henry divorced in 1956. Henry Fonda's fourth wife was Afdira Franchetti. She's still alive at the age of 86. They married in 1957 and they divorced in 1961. They had no children. Sorry for the crinkle there. His fifth wife was Shirley Adams. She's still alive at the age of 85, and he married her in 1965, and they remained married for the rest of his life. They had no children. Now I'll go into the information of his children, Henry and Frances's children, Jane and Peter Fonda. I've put a dashed line for their relationship line with their parents to indicate they had a distant relationship. This is due to the mother's mental health issues. I've also shown next to Henry that he was emotionally unavailable, hence their possible estrangement and distant relationship. Jane Fonda here, as you can see, is 79 years old. She's still alive today. During her life, so far, she has married 3 times. The first was to Roger Vadim. I've indicated that their marriage, which began in 1965, was emotionally abusive. This is shown here with a crossed line here and an unshaded end. And they divorced in 1973, not 1975. Roger Vadim has since died. He died at the age of 72 in 2000. And during their marriage, Jane and Roger had 1 child, Vanessa Vadim. I've put a crossed line for the relationship line to indicate they had a hostile relationship. Vanessa Vadim is 48 years old and she is married currently to Paul Wagner, who's 38, and they married in 2010. Jane Fonda's second marriage was to Tom Hayden, who is 76. They married in 1973 and they divorced in 1990. I've also put a zigzagged line to indicate that it was an emotionally abusive relationship. They, during their marriage, had a son, Troy Garrity, who is 43 years old, and he is married to Simone Bent, whom he married in 2007. I haven't put her age here because I could not find out what it was. and they have no children. Jane and Tom also adopted a child in 1982, who's Mary Williams, who is 49 years old, not married, no children. Anyway, her last marriage so far was to Ted Turner, who's still alive at the age of 78. They married in 1991 and divorced in 2001. I've also put a zigzag line to indicate an emotionally abusive relationship. Now I'm on to Peter Fonda, who is aged 77. He's still alive. Like Jane, he also has been married 3 times in his lifetime. His first marriage was to Susan Brewer, whom he married in 1961 and divorced in 1974. I've not put her age down or any of his other wives because I could not find out their age. During Susan and Peter's marriage, they had 2 children, Justin Fonda, who's 50, who is unmarried and childless, and Bridget Fonda, who's 53 years old. She married Danny Elfman, who's 63. They married in 2003, and they have 1 son, Oliver Elfman, who is 12 years old. Peter Fonda's second marriage was to Portia Croquette. They married in 1975, and they divorced in 2011. And his final marriage was to Margaret DeVaglia. I don't know how to pronounce that. And they are still married. They married in 2011. And there you have it.